The 8th of September 1942. Tuapse Road, Western Caucasus, midnight. The mountains exhale a cold that settles in the gullies like water. A German patrol files past a halted convoy, 2 Opel Blitz trucks, a field kitchen, a Horch staff car with a 30-watt radio humming in its gut. Unteroffizier Karl Voss palms a flare pistol, listening to insects grind their tiny gears. Then the insects stop. The air seems to lean in. Somewhere above the ridge, an engine had been a gnat buzz, and then it isn't. The silence has weight. Ruhe. The lieutenant whispers, open hand cutting the dark. Searchlights stab at nothing. A 2 centimeters FlaK 38 crew thumbs cold links into a drum, the gun captain muttering about partisans and nerves. Voss hears it before he sees it. A soft broom through rafters sound, wind in wires. The shape that drops into the searchlight's exhausted edge is so simple, it insults the eye. A 2-bay biplane, fabric struts visible, a lantern ghost with a star on the tail. Polikarpov Po-2. Someone barks, Fure. Too late. 2 pairs let go from the lower wing FAB-50 seconds and fall with the terrible certainty of ideas that have already happened. The first blast turns the creek to hammered silver. The second lifts the field kitchen clean, throwing potatoes and sheet metal in the same breath. Voss's world becomes gravel in his teeth and a heat that passes across the ground like an animal. He rolls under the Horch as the MG-34 snaps tracer ladders pretty, harmless lines that never find the gliding shadow. Over the ridge, Senior Lieutenant Nadezhda Popova eases the throttle forward, the Shvetsov M11 radial coughing back to life after the glide. In the rear cockpit, navigator Yevgeniya Rudneva calls time in a low metronome, raise, dve, try, stopwatch ticking in a glove with worn fingertips. The little airplane answers like a patient horse, nose up a finger's width, climb bought a spoonful at a time. Popova rides the night's grain, feeling the low hills under her through the stick. Back at the blacked-out strip, lanterns are hooded to slits. Ground crewmen roll the Po-2 into a chalk rectangle by hand, swapping out scabbed bomb racks for another pair of 50 seconds. No radios, orders travel by boot and breath. Major Yevgeniya Rudneva, commander of the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, stands in a cone of lamplight with a stub pencil and a column of names. She does not look up when Popova reports just scrapes a mark, nods, and says, "West spur," again. The regimen is an oath. Out, glide, drop, fan, return, repeat. On the road, the lieutenant is shaking and embarrassed. "Nur holes," he mutters only wood. Voss doesn't answer. He has learned something the pamphlets never say. That silence can pounce. Somewhere up valley, the wires sing again, broom bristle whisper, and every neck on the road finds a new angle of fear. October 1942. A sod strip near Mozdok. The tents sweat lamp soot. The ground eats boots. The 588th is young and poor, and therefore inventive. Raised from Marina Raskova's call for women's regiments, they receive what the men reject. The Po-2, a workhorse trainer and crop duster, plywood and linen held together with dope and stubbornness. Poverty becomes doctrine. They learn to fly low and slow, where maps are rumors, and the horizon is a braid of trees remembered in the hands more than the eyes. The bomb site, OPB-1M, is useless in black. Navigators tape tracing paper to schoolroom atlases, stitch routes by time, speed, distance, and memorize the way a river turns like a sleeping animal. Bershenskaya's rules harden. No field lights, 1 shielded lantern at the last breath before flare. Cut engine on final, glide, drop, then split pairs fanning so searchlights can't cage them together. 2 ship teams work with a blacksmith's rhythm. First ship sprinkles AO-2.5 fragmentation to shatter nerves and push gunners out of cover. Partner follows with FAB-50 100, where men have just chosen to be. If the enemy chases, drag his attention to a second target. If he waits, make waiting expensive. They learn the enemy's adjustments and answer them. German FlaK crews practice intersecting cones. The women aim to live between cones. FlaK veering 38 seconds spit hoses of 20mm fire. The Po-2 steps sideways on rudder, a dancer ignoring a drunk. Fighters sent to hunt BF 109 seconds, W 190 seconds stumble at the Po-2's stall angel speeds. A veteran tells a rookie, dive, fire in crossing, pray. And that rumor becomes one more lever the regiment pulls. A night over Goryachi Klyuch. Popova rides the ridge shadow. Rudneva's glove-tapping shoulder once left 10 twice hold. Engine to idle. The prop disc becomes a ghost wheel. Searchlights wash past. Find smoke first, then nothing. Below, a rail spur. A drowsing truck like a warm beetle. Toggle cover up. The weightless pause. Then the earth becomes a lit mouth. Popova does not watch her handiwork. She is already banking, asking the air to forgive hurry. On the turnback, they skim a field where another unit's Po-2 sits on its nose from a short landing. A mechanic waves a hand lamp and grins. They will bend it back to rights by morning, patch the linen with a swallow wing of new cloth, and write, "Still flies in grease pencil" on the cowl. The airplane is a forgiving friend. Across the lines, Unteroffizier Voss trains his patrol to hear what isn't there, the sudden quiet of insects, dogs going statue still, the way a searchlight sometimes catches the absence before the thing. He repeats a word someone muttered with a nervous laugh. Nachthexen, night witches. He doesn't believe in witches, he believes in not sleeping. The 17th of April 1943, Taman Peninsula, the Kuban bridgehead. By day, the sky is a butcher's table, Yak 1 second, and BF 109 seconds carving lines over marsh and salt. By night, borders dissolve, and nuisance becomes strategy. The 588th stages from near Krimskaya, trucks axle deep, tents bowing in a wind that smells of algae. Targets, a pontoon crossing and ammunition barges tucked into reeds. Bershanskaya warns of decoy fires, German lamp tricks laid to draw bombs into emptiness. Trust your own made map, she says. Trust your count. Popova and Irina Sebrova take the west approach. Polina Gelman and Rufina Gasheva curve east. At 400 meters, Popova levels, letting the air find its balance on the wings. Rudneva's chalk marks glow dull on the combing. The surprise is above. A BF 110 night fighter drifts across their egress, fins long as bad ideas. The correct move in a fast machine would be to dive for the deck. In a Po-2, the genius play is blasphemy slow down. Popova feathers the throttle until the wires sing. The 110 slides past too hot to settle, gunner's tracer curdling into a harmless ribbon. The river bend arrives like something remembered with the skin. Down there, the pontoon, a truck nosing across in first gear, a Feldwebel waving a paddle. Popova slips, wing low, engine a rumour. First pair of FAB-50 walk onto the hinge of the bridge. She holds a beat, ears measuring, then scythes away on rudder alone. The bridge shudders, opens wrong, water shouldering its way in. On the east line, Gasheva plays fox with searchlights, seeding AO-2.5 along reed margins to blind and panic, Sebrova following with the heavy step. FlaK replies in hoses and knives. Somewhere a 20mm strikes Popova's outer flying wire. The airplane thrums like a plucked string. She feels the new drag, a tiny shifted hum, and files it under, "She'll forgive me for 2 more sorties." The flares the regiment mixes into early drops turn the search crew's pupils to coins. When the second wave arrives, the men below are still blinking. On the German bank, Voss and his patrol are told to sweep for saboteurs lighting witch fires. They wade cut grass that whispers against trousers. The adjutant issued them signal pistols and a proverb. Fire where you no longer hear. Voss fires red where the silence seems thickest. For a heartbeat, the biplane hangs there in scarlet, child simple, broom sound in its bones. Then the river throws metal and white water at their faces. Gravel counts his teeth. By dawn, the bridgehead looks gnawed. The Red Army will push while the wood is wet. The witches will nap in their boots and rise to the same geometry at dusk. Light seeks, dark slides, nerves fray repeat. The 23rd of June, 1944. Near Bobruisk, Belarus, the eve of Operation Bagration. The regiment wears a new title. Now 46th Guards Night Bomber earned the hard way. The field is a farm shorn to stumps, runway painted with oil to hold dust down. The work tonight is more arithmetic than spectacle. Keep roads awake, keep repairs behind, keep drivers twice shy. Targets: the feeder routes to Army Group Center, bridges, crossroads, repair depots. A Yak-9 escort prowls at distance, a shepherd against due 88 strays, but the Po-2 seconds go alone into the trees. Navigator Rudneva has taught herself a new country by kinks and smells. The Berezina's peat breath, the hedgerow kink outside Zlobin, a church dome that does not reflect. She taps Popova's shoulder. Right 5. Below, the Mogilev highway unrolls, trucks light-muzzled and spread by doctrine. At 150 meters, the engine goes to idle. The Po-2 becomes a leaf. The first pair folds the lead truck's hood into its own engine block. Drivers spill into ditches with flares hissing like angry moths. A convoy 2 centimeters rack rakes the sky, but the tracers write complaints, not sentences. Elsewhere, Irina Yakutnova finds a telegraph line with her lower wing linen tearing with a zipper lament, but nurses the bird home. The ground crew already warming dope and muttering, "She'll fly." Rufina Gasheva threads a bead of AO-2.5 along a repair yard, then lets her partner stamp the heavy mark. A searchlight truck opens its white eye. Popova presents the Po-2's smallest face, slipping until the cone loses the edge to smoke. On the road, now Feldwebel Voss has given up on charms. He teaches listening with a wire, a crude contact mic on a poplar, field headphones hissing with river noise, wind, and sometimes the moment the engine returns. "Shoot before the sound," he tells a new gunner. "If you wait for it, you're late." One night they almost catch a witch at the re-throttle point. The MG-42 drags a silver bead line through where the noise should be. The noise comes a hair left. The dark keeps its counsel. By dawn, the roads are pocked, and the repair crews older by a year. The arithmetic favors the patient. Men who live by daylight now chew coffee grounds at midnight, learning to flinch at the sound of nothing. On the field, grease-wristed ground crews refill by bucket because a pump is dead, chalk 8 sorties on a cowl, and steal an hour with boots under wings. Bagration begins with shells at 4. By 10, the front is braided with panic. The witches pour more wakefulness into the enemy's veins. The 13th of January 1945. Near Insterburg, East Prussia. The cold makes liars of engines. Oil turns to honey. The M11 pulls at the air like a bad tooth. Ground crew warm cylinders with braziers that toast knuckles. The task is precise cruelty. A field battery in a pine copse that chatters by day and sleeps too well by night. Bershanskaya sends pairs down the gully nobody likes, where cold air lies like lead and flak pits can't quite see. Popova flies by count and smell now. Navigator Tatiana Makarova sketches the approach on her palm. Mill Pond, Forked Lane, a sawtooth tree line that means hold. Engine to idle. The wires sing broom song. FAB-50 seconds first wake them, then a rake of AO-2.5 to catch men leaving their holes. The copse coughs orange. A searchlight claws the smoke. A flak Vierling hoses a white ladder where the Po-2 might be. Popova does what the type does best. Refuses to hurry. Trades 5 meters for a knot of mercy. Slides until the beam kisses only absence. A branch ticks the lower wing insult forgiven by linen and patience. Feldwebel Voss has made a craft of the countercraft. Headphones on, finger to trigger, he aims not at the airplane he cannot see, but at the moment he has learned to feel a silence that breaks forward into throttle. He squeezes early, brass winking to the frozen ditch. The returning engine comes a palm's width away from his wager. The dark stays rich. By May, towns with names like Splinters discover white cloth. The 46th Guards have flown night after night after night, sometimes 8 sorties before the sky thinks better of dawn. Names gather like frost on canvas. Popova, Gelman, Gasheva, Sebrova, and the steady graphite stroke of Bershanskaya, writing totals by lamplight. Their legend is not magic. Its method, wood and fabric, time and nerve, silence shaped into a blade. The 1st of May 1945, near Kustrin. The regiment shares a rutted strip with IL-2 assault crews. A captain from a Guards rifle division thanks them shyly. "When you came, we slept." They didn't. A young crew asks Popova what it felt like the first time she cut the engine on purpose. "Like the world stopped," she says, smiling with the edges. "Then I learned the world keeps moving even when you are quiet." Across a grey river, rumour does its old work. A Volkssturm boy says the witches are paper or ghosts. Voss, older than his papers, snaps. They are pilots. He lights a cigarette he doesn't finish. One last run, almost ceremonial. A hedgerow MG that refused the calendar. Glide, drop, return, ritual steps in an old dance. Back at the line, a mechanic's black handprint blooms on a cowling. Someone writes on a mess tent board, "Home is where you stop listening for the broom." No one claims the line. It belongs to the night. The headlines go to capitals and signatures. But there are other maps of sleep lost. Repairs doubled. Drivers who flinch. Gunners who aim at emptiness, on which the witches are bold text. The Germans called them Nachthexen after the hush before the blast. The women knew it from the first glide. Silence is the dangerous part. The 16th of April 1945. Kustrin bridgehead on the Oder. The night is not dark. It is streaked mortar stars over the river, signal bursts that hang and drip. The Red Army is prying at Berlin's front door with a crowbar of guns, and the 46th Guards night bombers are sent to rattle the latch every hour until it breaks. The strip is a gouge in a beet field, the ruts filled with rainwater that remembers winter. Senior Lieutenant Nadezhda Popova sits with her back against a fuel drum, flight scarf up over nose. Navigator Tatiana Makarova traces one last time with a pencil stub. Ferry point, mill chimney, a kink in the flood bank like a crooked finger. The wind smells of wet earth and cordite. The little Po-2 takes the ground the way a patient horse takes a hill, slow, accepting, certain. Wheels lift. Then the sod is a lighter smear behind them. The front is a horizon of flashbulbs, the kind that don't wait for photographers. Across the Oder, German batteries write their arguments in white arcs. Feldwebel Karl Voss stands by a trench lip with a field phone, mouth dust dry. He has learned to count not the shells, but the intervals between them. It's the quiet that says trouble is walking toward you. Popova rides the river's cold breath, the wires singing that familiar broom through rafters hum when she pulls the throttle to idle. The searchlights have grown nervous. They shake and overcorrect. Manned by Volkssturm one night, veterans the next. Makarova taps. Once hold this drift. Twice now. Below, a ferry scabbed from pontoons noses at a temporary pier. A truck on it rumbling as if that will make the water behave. Popova slips the Po-2 across the current, wing low, and clicks the safety cover back from the bomb toggle. The drop is 2 FAB-50 on the pierhead planks leap like fish and a rake of AO-2.5 along the bank where men run to be brave. FlaK comes up late and wild. The FlaK veerling that rips a white ladder into the smoke is out of practice, or afraid, or both. A 20mm round passes above the upper wing with a sound like ripping linen and then doesn't matter. Popova does the thing this airplane was born to do, refuses to hurry, and the light loses her, the way a hand loses a moth at the edge of the lampshade. Behind them, the ferry twists, a square of black suddenly detached from its intention, drifting and turning through reflected fire. Voss yanks the phone to his ear, shouts to a gun he cannot see. His gunner, young enough to have a school satchel at home, sprays an MG-42 string where silence had seemed thickest. The casings tinkle into sandbags. Voss feels, more than hears, the Po-2's engine come back alive somewhere not where he aimed. He lowers the gunner's barrel with a steadying hand that might also be a father's. The regiment's pairs work the crossings and feeder roads all night. Sebrova and Gasheva seeding flares in their first pass to blind search crews. Polina Gelman pacing the stopwatch, while her pilot threads between gun pits like a seamstress. Every hour, 2 more wood and linen phantoms appear over the floodplain. The quiet between barrages becomes booby-trapped. Men on both banks begin to glance up at nothing. Back on the strip, ground crew in quilted jackets haul fuel by hand pump that sighs like an old man. The Po-2's engine is warm enough to smoke even in the damp. Major Yevgeniya Rudneva stands with her book and pencil and patience, making the night into columns that mean something tomorrow. Popova and Makarova drop into their own footprints, briefly human again tea, a crust of bread, a joke so small it hardly deserves the name, and then climb back into the cold. Just before dawn, the sky over the silo heights turns the color of exhausted metal and then becomes a furnace door opening. The nightwork folds itself and tucks into the day's howl. On the far bank, Voss counts his men with a finger and decides he will sleep standing if he must. He has learned that silence here is not mercy. It is the sound a blade makes before it is seen. The 2nd of May 1945. A rutted strip near Kustrin, east of Berlin. The war is falling in on itself with a sound like roofs letting go. A Po-2 rolls to a stop, canvas breathing with heat. Popova pulls off her helmet and rubs 2 lines of cold from her cheeks. Makarova grins without quite managing it. On the mess board, someone has chalked destinations in a hand that doesn't plan to erase them. Kustrin, Strasbourg, Berlin. The strip smells of wet rope and petrol. Il-2 assault planes sit hammerhead proud nearby, their crews filthy with days' work. The witches watch them without envy. The night has its own trophies. A guard's rifle captain arrives with an escort and a shy posture, the way you walk into a church when you are not sure what to do with your hat. He says his men slept last night because the enemy didn't. He does not have medals in his pocket, only words. He gives them anyway, and they weigh more than brass. Bershanskaya nods, takes the thanks like a receipt, and sends 2 more pairs to harry a last roadblock whose commander cannot read the calendar. Across the Oder, Feldwebel Voss stands beside a toppled road sign and a stack of confiscated hunting rifles. A boy in a Volkssturm armband, too young to shave and too old for toys, explains with serious certainty that the witches' planes are paper machines flown by ghosts. Voss lights a cigarette he will not finish and says, not gently, they are pilots. He thinks of the time he heard the engine come back a palm's width away from where he had wagered his burst. He thinks of silence as a discipline, not a threat. The last run for Popova and Makarova that night is almost ceremonial. A hedgerow MG that has taken it upon itself to fire at anything that argues with it, so they argue. Engine to idle, wires singing the broom song the Germans named them for, 2 FAB-50 and a line of AO-2.5 to shake men out of holes at the wrong moment. The field returns to black and to crickets like a throat clearing after a long speech. On the way home, they pass over a town with sheets at the windows that used to be tablecloths. In the tent, Polina Gelman closes her notebook with the pencil stub tucked under the cord. Beside her, a mechanic sleeps under a wing with a wrench for a pillow, oil in his hair making constellations no chart will keep. Someone has written on the mess board in a neat, unremarkable hand, "Home is where you stop listening for the broom." No one admits authorship. The line belongs to the night. At morning, the regiment forms a crooked line by the aircraft. Bershanskaya reads a note that is and is not an order. Stand by to stand down, to move. To become something that is not a machine for turning quiet into danger. Names roll past. Popova, Sebrova, Gasheva, Gelman, Makarova, each one a metronome mark across 3 years of dark. The airplanes, toys from one angle and knives from another, face into a breeze that believes in tomorrow. On the far side of the ruin, Voss walks a road with no orders in his pocket. He listens out of habit and hears only wind, birds, and the metallic tick of a cooling engine that no longer matters. The silence is different now. It is not a pounce waiting. It is a weight lifting, slow as sap. That evening, a gramophone misjudges the mood and gets turned down with laughter that doesn't quite catch. Popova laces her boots the way she always did, and then catches herself there is nowhere to be. In the little garden somebody has scratched from junk and willpower. A propeller from a wrecked Po-2 stands like a shrine post. People pass it without ceremony and touch it once, quick as habit. Night comes. No flares, no beams, no broom song. A star slides behind a torn cloud and reappears. If you've flown long enough with engines to idle, you think the world stops when it's quiet. Then you learn what the witches taught, night after night. The world keeps moving because it is quiet. Quiet is how you make room to see. The headline writers move their type around capitals and signatures. The witches leave behind other maps, sleep stolen, bridges mended twice, drivers who flinch, gunners who look up a second too late, maps nobody prints and everybody feels. Bershanskaya closes the book with the last column added. Popova blows out a lamp, and for the first time in years, the dark means only dark.